Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be doing a live studio tour here. It's only going to take 10 minutes, so let's get started. And by live, what I actually mean is that I am going to be producing this entire studio tour myself, recorded in one take. You'll see below here that there's little lower third titles that will show you what camera I'm using so you can kind of get a reference of what's going on. So this is our studio. And I have the ability to pan, tilt, and zoom any of these cameras with my iOS device. So I'm going to be panning and tilting around the studio to show you guys what I'm up to. And let's take a quick little tour around the studio. So first of all, this is our studio, and this is our confidence monitor here. This is one of the main cameras we use, a PTZOptics 30X camera. And this is the monitor that I look at as we live stream, so I can kind of see what's going on. If you follow me over here, passing our podcasting studio, this is our main production area right here. And this is one of our main camera shots you're seeing. It's a 12x SDI camera, one that looks just like this. And I'm able to control this entire production from a touchscreen, which is really nice for me. As when COVID hit and we couldn't have our producers in the studio, I was able to control most of this myself. So if I show you really quickly here, this close-up camera here, this is a shot that we use quite a lot in our studio. This is a Z-Cam. It's called a PTZOptics Z-Cam, and you can see it there. It's this camera. This is a really affordable SDI camera. It's the PTZOptics VL, which stands for variable lens, because I can actually adjust this lens and really dial in the focus and put different lenses on this camera. So it's a very versatile camera. We use it for close-up views of different items. You can see it stays in focus. It looks really sharp. And this is the vmix controller that I use most of the time while I'm live streaming and switching by myself when I need to. Now, another camera I wanted to show was our 12x Z-Cam here. This is a 12x Z-Cam, and you're seeing this shot from a 12x SDI camera that's in the ceiling. So I'll show that off in a moment. This camera's on a slider, so it goes left and right very slowly. In fact, I can actually use this little device here to increase the speed if I'd like, to make it go a little faster if I want. Usually we keep it nice and slow. It just does these beautiful kind of television quality productions for anything that we put on the table. It just makes it look beautiful, more engaging and entertaining, and in a live video production environment. This is a 12x Z-Cam, and the focus is locked directly on this plane. PTZOptics just recently released a new firmware update, which actually allows the cameras to have a focal range, which is really nice to keep things in focus. But let me show you something else. So let's go to our close-up Z-Cam, and I want to show this off really quickly. This is my paper that I keep with me. And this paper here just tells me what all my inputs are as I'm switching. So I try to just glance at this because, again, I'm trying to be the producer here and do all of this live. So our next shot is the ceiling camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my main camera shot here, and I'm going to pan and zoom upward to show you guys our ceiling camera. It's right here. This camera is awesome. This is a 12x SDI camera, and it allows us to get all kinds of different shots throughout our studio. It's mounted with the PT-CM white camera mount. When you're putting a camera on the ceiling, it's really nice to have it all be flush and white to a drop ceiling or a hard ceiling. So this is a great camera that allows us to capture a lot of different views throughout our studio. Sometimes it shoots straight down, right? So we use it as a document camera, and that's the view there from the camera itself. But we use this camera for all kinds of views throughout our studio. I'll just zoom out a little more, and you kind of get to see a little bit more of the studio. Now, when we first started, I was sitting back over there There's a lot of lights in this studio, so it gives you kind of a look at the way everything's set up. But I also want to take a peek behind the scenes again and take another look at the studio. So one thing, the very first camera we started at, this is the only camera that's not from PTZOptics. This is a HuddleCam HD Pro. It's a 4K webcam. So for super close-up shots where you just want to be able to capture something quick and easy, this HuddleCam HD Pro is great for that. I'll cut back to that shot quickly here. And boom, this is the HuddleCam HD Pro. It's a great for close-ups, but it can actually zoom in because it's a 4K webcam. Super affordable. It's only $299, and you can zoom in, 3x, up to 8x, and still have pretty decent resolution for video productions. So that is cool. One of the things I wanted to take a moment to look at also is our production inside of vmix. So if you're new to vmix, basically there's a program and an output. So the left-hand side is the preview, and then the right-hand side is the program. And so these are all the shots that we just went through. Now you noticed earlier that I was operating all of that remotely with the vmix web controller. That's an IP address on your local area network that you can connect to with a web browser and just literally switch the inputs and do actually even more than just switching inputs. It's really nice. But one of the things I wanted to show is the ability to control a PTZ camera inside of vmix. I'll move it over here just a little bit so you guys can see this easily. Now, there's a PTZ tab inside of vmix, and it allows you to quickly and easily control a PTZOptics camera. So I have the speed here at kind of fast, but you can control the speed so it's a lot slower depending on your situation and what you want to do. You can control the zoom, and vmix just announced focus control. So that's something that I really am excited about playing with as well. This is that main camera shot, and easily zoom in and out. Now another really nice feature using vmix with this is to create an input. So if we create one input here, zoom out, and we'll create another input, and I do that by creating input at this position. Let's do one on the Facebook like counter here. I create these inputs. It basically creates little images that you can click and have the camera go directly back to that when you click them. So if you remember during our production, when I clicked this little PTZ button here, the camera was zoomed in to this Z-cam, and we were looking at the Z-cam in what's called a multi-view. So we had two camera views combined. And then when I was ready to move to a different location, I could just click this button and the camera moved and zoomed out. So it's very versatile. The other thing that's really nice about vmix when you're using PTZ cameras is the ability to use color correction tools. So here's what the camera looks without color correction. Here's what it looks like with the color correction. And you can color match multiple cameras by saving presets and then applying those presets, those color profiles to other cameras. Really makes your production look sharp. So the other thing that we do that I get a lot of questions about in our studio is these mixing of different presentations. So a lot of times you can see here that we'll have kind of picture-in-picture view kind of layout where anything on this desktop capture, so anything that I have, I'll just zoom this down a little bit, on this computer is mixed into this computer. So, everything on this screen is mixed into a production for this screen. I've covered that in other videos, so this is essentially just a recap, but this is really nice, and this is how we capture Zoom video conference callers and bring them into our vmix production. I get a lot of questions about that. So that's pretty much the studio tour. So we got it done in less than 10 minutes. Just wanted to show you guys a look at our video production studio. Let me know any questions that you have in the comments below. Speaking of comments, we do use vmix Social to show live comments on the screen during our productions. Here's one here. Usually it'll pull in a image as well, but it's not connected and set up. But we can pull in comments from YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and other places, which is really cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.